words on behalf of all of us, Mark.
Can you hear at the back? Right, first of all, can we all do make a lot of noise, because today in Liverpool we've also got cleaners on strike in HMRC, also working for ISS. Make a big noise of solidarity for the cleaners. And a bit more of that. Last week at the Foreign Office we also had people on strike from Interserve, their fourth bout of industrial action. Also low paid workers. Big noise for the FCO strikers. But today I think is one of the proudest moments for this union, because to start an indefinite all-out strike of low-paid workers working for private companies, you are so brave. Your union and everyone here is immensely proud of the stance you've made. So let's make a massive roar for all those out today on indefinite strike. Just think a minute, what's the common feature of these strikes? Cleaners, caterers, messengers, porters, maintenance staff, receptionists, all people who work incredibly hard, all people who are usually low paid, and all people who have been privatised, working for disgraceful employers who want to make profits on the back of exploiting the hard work of the people who are on strike today. So the first thing we have to say is whether you're a cleaner in Liverpool, a caterer in BEIS, or a maintenance worker at the Foreign Office, we demand that everyone is brought back in-house, back into the civil service, so you can be treated the same way as everyone else. And why do we say that? Because the civil service, for those who are civil servants, know it's also been pretty difficult for the last few years. But at least we get sick pay. At least we can have holidays. At least there is the living wage and the minimum wage. And at least you have security of knowing that your employer is the state and companies cannot treat you in the disgraceful way that Aramark and ISS and Interserve are treating people. So if you believe that everyone here deserves the right to be back in the public sector, make a massive amount of noise so we can get back into the civil service. Now there's something else about these strikes. There are workers today in America on strike working for Amazon. Now many people walking past here will think, yeah, well I bet Amazon are pretty dodgy, squeezing every last drop out of working class people. But you're on strike and you work in the business department. Last week it was the Foreign Office. The cleaners work for HMRC. These are government departments, and these strikes are a moment for us to be proud, but they should be ashamed of themselves that they are treating you in this way. And I tell you what else they should be ashamed of themselves for. In case people don't know, last week we wrote to Jeremy Hunt, to Greg Clark, and we also wrote to Cressida Dick at the Metropolitan Police, because we believe that these employers have broken the law and have acted in a criminal way, because we think they brought in agency work to do the work of people who are on strike. Now that is not only immoral, that is not only disgusting, we believe it is illegal. And in this department, they are responsible for enforcing this law across the whole of the UK. Well, they should bloody well start by enforcing it in their own building, and they should tell these contractors to get around the table and settle the strike. anyone in London who's passing by, who looks in this building, some of the richest, most famous people in the world come here. And when they come here, the food that is put on their plate is made by the people on strike today who feed them fantastic quality food. But the same workers who put the food on the plate of the richest have had to go to the union room in recent weeks to go to a food bank to take food home to feed their families. Now, if that is not a sign of how unequal Britain is and how disgracefully the private contractors treat their hard-working staff, I don't know what else is. So, today, our fabulous members, having had weeks and weeks of strike action, have taken the bravest decision of all, which is to make this strike indefinite. And that means a very simple thing. We will not be going back to work until the private company and BEIS ensure all of our members get the London living wage, get proper terms and conditions, and start a process to talk to the union about bringing people back into the civil service. So for anyone who's not on strike, just think this for a minute. Everyone else will get our pay packets at the end of the month. These workers now will get no pay packet from their employers. The union is going to use the money we're raising from all of our members to pay strike pay, and we're urging everyone else to dig deep and ensure that the money is available so that nobody here has to go back to work because they cannot feed their family or because they're worried about financial pressures. They say that the union movement is about solidarity, is that we stand together. So all of us, the challenge is this: we all stand together to support every woman and every man today who's on indefinite strike, and the workers next week that will be joining this strike from this building, and all the other people in Liverpool and at the Foreign Office who are taking industrial action. Because this is now a battle to the end. And it's a battle about this, whether private contractors can treat people in a disgraceful way, whether they can get away with law breaking in a government department, and whether they can try and smash the morale of the union and these brave women and men who are on strike. Or on the other hand, it is a moment that we celebrate one of the biggest victories that we will have seen in recent years, where low-paid private workers show that when people join a union and stand together, there is nothing that we cannot achieve. And it is about whether we gather again here, in however long it takes, not to see people walk out of the building, but to see them walk back together, flying their flags, heads held high, knowing that they have achieved a fabulous victory. So thanks to everyone for turning out. Thanks to all of you amazing members of PCS who've taken this step. Our pledge is we stand with you for as long as it takes, and we say to the bosses of Aramark and ISS and to Greg Clark, the time to stop dodging the question, to not get around the table and engage seriously is over. We demand a negotiated settlement. We demand decent terms and conditions, and I want you all to make the loudest noise of all to show these people we are with them until their end. Solidarity, everyone.